Hi everyone, hope you're having an absolutely brilliant day. I'm actually editing this a little bit up front ahead of the video. I've already recorded the video that you're about to watch, and I just wanted to put a disclaimer in a way up front to say that this is a bit of a high level overview look at Microsoft Flight Simulator with the RTX3080 card in there and just seeing what sort of performance we're going to get out of it. Now this is not an in-depth technical review, that's not something that I get into. So you're not going to get a really detailed level benchmarking or anything like that. What it is my impressions on how the game runs, looks and feels with the upgraded system that I've got. Now I know there's other components that do affect the outcome in the simulation, so it's not just the graphics card. But really it's a good opportunity in different conditions to see what this sort of tech can do. So hopefully you do enjoy it and hopefully you take that into account. Down in the comments, please put your thoughts down there. It would be really appreciated. But let's get into the actual video that I put together. And yeah, I'm looking forward to putting some more Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 videos together. So I'll talk to you very soon. Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. And today it's a very, very exciting day. I've got my hands on the brand new GeForce RTX 3080, and at the same time I've gone ahead and upgraded my system quite significantly actually. And so what I thought I would do is just put a bit of a short video together. Well, I intend it to be short, we'll see what happens, just to put the new system through its paces. And I'm just really interested in seeing what sort of performance I'm going to get out of this new hardware. Now, just a reminder, if you are new to the channel, how about consider subscribing? It costs nothing at all except just a little bit of self-respect. And also, if you do enjoy this video, please hit the like button down below. It really, really helps the channel. The YouTube algorithm absolutely loves it. Okay, before we get into it, everybody, what I'll do is I'll show you my graphical settings in the game so you can just get a feel for what I'm running there. So let's just go, up here. We'll actually do it, and we'll go to General. Graphics right here. So I'll just run through all the different options I've got set here. It's pretty much the preset that they gave me when I fired up the game, and I've made one very small change. Now, before anyone says it, there's a lot of optimization that I can do in here. I can do a bit of compromising around some of the aspects here. So I've pretty much gone for default. I'm sure I can make it run a bit better than probably what it's going to. So running down here, the global rendering quality is ultra, and I'm so stoked to be able to do that after barely getting high on my previous system. TAA, as you can see, everything's set to ultra. Now I did pump up render scaling to 150 from 100. We'll see what happens there. I mean, I've obviously got a bit of scope to pull that down if I need to. Terrain level of detail and objects level is right up at 200, and I only had those at 100 on my previous system. By the way, I'm going to put my previous specs up right now, and as you can see, a fairly mid-range sort of computer. So nothing to write home about, but was decent. I was more than happy with what I was getting, by the way. But as you can see, everything here pretty much on ultra. We do have water waves on high. They certainly do have an impact on frames. And if we go right down here, we've got glass cockpit refresh rate down there on medium, and all these other things here. Bloom on, lens off, lens flare on, and the rest you can see right there. Shadow maps at 2048, terrain shadows at 1024 up there. So it is pretty much, it's right up there in terms of having a lot of the stuff maxed out or near the top. And if we go back into the actual simulator right here, for those of you from down under, you might recognise where I am. This is Kingsford Smith International Airport in Sydney. And the reason I've chosen this airport for a start is because I did quite a bit of work tweaking my previous system here. So I knew what I was getting. And if we look up at the top left-hand corner there, I'm just clocking up, or monitoring, I should say, the RTX 3080 temperature. And also its capacity there, so it's running at what, between 87 and 94 capacity, so it's right up there too. And I can tell you, I'm just putting my hand up against my rig. I've got it on the top of my desk because it looks quite bright with the all the little lights going on in there, and so I can definitely feel the heat on the glass cover right here. So it's definitely pumping out a bit of heat. But it seems to be handling things pretty well, and as you can see, I'm pretty steady in the sort of early 40s from a frame rate point of view. If you look around, I mean, I do have some weather pumped in there. I've got these clouds, they will be having an impact, and obviously I've got the settings up pretty high. So one thing I've noticed is actually looking at the actual model of the aircraft. I mean, it's not a heck of a lot different to what I had previously, but it certainly is just a bit sharper. You got those slightly better reflections and shadows, and it's definitely a really mint-looking aircraft. There's no doubt about it. Using the Edmonton Flying Club livery right here, which is kind of cool. So if we just get up and elevate a bit here, I mean, straight away I can tell the difference compared to what I had on my previous system. At sort of mid-range level graphical settings, I was sort of in the 30s. And at the end of the day, what I would say is that I don't get overly worried about frame rate. It's more about that experience when I'm flying, when I'm looking around the scenery. Is it smooth? Is it a decent enough quality? So I'm not overly sort of passionate about getting 60 frames. So at the moment though, with these pretty decent settings, which are pretty high, I'm getting mid 40s as we look around the scenery right here. I am more than happy with that. The water detail is high enough for me. It certainly looks pretty realistic. So what we'll do is let's pump in some traffic and see whether that has an impact. I'm just really keen to test out some of that. So let's do that right now. Right, we are back with some traffic enabled right here, everybody, and there was a very slight bump down when I first came in, but as you can see right here, it hasn't really had much of an impact at all. Now, to be honest, we've only got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 or 6 aircraft that are actually in the area, so that won't have too much of an impact, you wouldn't expect. I know they've done a little bit of work in the background to help optimize this a little bit, but yeah, with all live traffic enabled, it hasn't really had much of an impact at all, which is good to see. Like I say, it would need to be a lot busier to really put it to the test, but so far so good. Let's jump in the aircraft. I'm going to go over the city. Let's get some built up terrain and see what happens there. So I'll catch you once I'm back over the main city of Sydney. This is absolutely beautiful at these settings, I can tell you that. Look at those reflections off the top of the wings right there. And I'm really putting the system under some test here. With a lot of clouds around, the graphics turn right up, and all the multiplayer traffic on. So as you can see, we're down below sort of 40 frames per second, but it is very, very smooth. Down below us here, we're heading across towards the Sydney Opera House, which you can probably see in there. Not the greatest view with all these clouds around, but I really wanted to test out this system. We've got Sydney Harbour there, and we've got the Sydney CBD just over there in the distance, which you can see. This is really smooth. Hopefully it's going to come through on the recording, but I'm seeing absolutely no jitters whatsoever, and the graphics are just absolutely fantastic, really sharp, really high quality. That is not the Sydney Harbour Bridge, by the way. We'll need to download that freeware that someone's done. But this is really, looking at the sim from this angle here, ultra realistic with those clouds in the background, and you've got this fuselage. It's got the right sort of lighting on it. So yeah. Anyway, it's handling it completely fine. Looks like we're sort of somewhere between sort of the late 30s to early 40s from a frame per second, frame rates, I should say. Yeah, it's handling it with absolute aplomb. So very, very happy with that. Let's go to a different location and try some things out. Here we are, everybody, at NZQM, which is Queenstown in New Zealand, one of my favourite airports. And as you can see, obviously without the built-up city around, it's certainly handling this with no problem at all at, 55 frames per second. Not a lot for it to really have to render out here. This is one of the detailed airports that come with the simulator, but obviously it's a very small airport compared to some of those international ones. But like I said earlier, I really do notice, I mean, it's pretty obvious, I'm going to notice it with this much more powerful system, just the sharpness of the graphics and the higher detail. There's more in in everything that I can see right here. So yeah, out in a rural type area like this, absolutely no problem. But you'd expect that anyway, to be fair. But yeah, that's great. So let me jump into another location just to sort of try things out. Actually, before I do that, let's try putting some snow into this area, because it's certainly an area during the winter that's going to get a bit of snow. So there we go right there. We got that bump down of down into the 30s initially. But now it's sort of settled, and we're still hovering around that 50 frames per second. So obviously having this really built up weather with basically no visibility does certainly have an impact, but not a major impact. But obviously there's not a heck of a lot to look at when there's all this snow on the ground and this cloud this low. I can tell you right now, you would not be flying in and out of this airport in these conditions, not with the mountains around. Anyway, now we'll go somewhere else. All right, we're on our way over to New York City at night, which is certainly going to be a test. And as you can see, we're up around 40 frames at the moment, so it's definitely working just a little bit harder. Well, it's actually not working harder because it's only 77% in terms of capacity, but in terms of frame rates, it's certainly having an impact. We're dipping into the 30s quite often here. I did notice when I was on the ground at JFK that I was certainly getting lower frame rates for a start, so the night conditions certainly have an impact, there's no doubt about it. One thing that I haven't mentioned that has definitely been noticeable has just been panning around the cockpit. Usually it's a bit jerky, but it's very, very smooth. Now that could just be the upgraded CPU, could be having a bit of an impact on that too, obviously, so we've just got to be aware of that. But let's jump outside. Here we are outside. Man, that is, oh my, that is just unbelievable, I tell you. That looks unbelievable. But we're getting that high detail on the ground right there. We're maintaining around high 30s. And like I said, I'm looking for smoothness. I'm not just chasing frames all day and all night. It's about having that smooth experience. But wow, I mean, that the quality right there is just unbelievable. So we seem to be maintaining that high 30s, early 40s. 86% on the GPU, coming up here on the main part of New York City. So once I get over the buildings, we'll have another chat. Right over the top of the city here, everybody. And we're getting, what, 37, 36, 35. So drop just a little bit. High 30s still. Still looking pretty good right there. And still smooth and of the highest quality, without a doubt. And as we head away from the Empire State Building, we're now maintaining up around that sort of mid-40s once again. We pan around. And yeah, still looking really good. Obviously, Central Park there, the dark area just below us. Yeah, but it's handling it absolutely beautifully. A few bumps there. Alright, let's go and wrap things up, everybody. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The RTX 3080, a bit of a quick look at what you can expect in different conditions. Obviously, different components in your computer will also contribute to what you're likely to get. But my initial impressions are, wow, unbelievable. Really magnificent. I mean, I thought the graphics in the game were fantastic anyway, but this is just really taking it to the next level. It's provided me with a smoother gameplay experience, even though it wasn't too bad previously, and has really brought out the simulator to the next level for me. So really looking forward to putting out some more videos at these sort of settings. And also looking forward to things happening a lot faster, including rendering my videos and a whole lot of other stuff. So the new system is going to be really fantastic for that. The other great news is going to be that I'm going to be able to do some streaming, because on my old rig, really, this game was just not going to be streamable for me. So that's all good. So anyway, hey, let me know down in the comments what you think. I hope you did enjoy this very quick look at the RTX 3080 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. As always, smash your like button down below, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, everybody, take it easy.